This is Misty.
And this is Kristi.
You're listening to Misty and Kristi.
Today we have some stuff to talk about. And one of those things is a question that gets posed to us quite a bit is how in the heck did we get this whole crazy podcast idea? Care to start with that conversation, Misty? No. Okay. So I've known Misty for a while now. Oh, you're going to do that? I'm going to keep talking because you're shaking your head at me. I'm not going to press stop. We're not going to start this over again.
I'm like, is she going to just, elaborate on me being speechless, or are we letting that go right now?
No.
She's letting it go.
I'm letting it go because I got the whole death look at me of, shut up, Kristen. So then I'll tell the story.
This should so be a video cast.
I know, but I look like,
watch.
okay, but here's the deal. I need a glam squad. I need a 5-alarm glam squad today.
We don't have time for that. I'm loving you in your Dos Equis t-shirt. You're rocking that off the shoulder and all. It's hot.
Just missing my Titleist hat.
There you go. Hey, Titleist.
And a green parrot.
There you go.
So
parakeet.
I'm so damn it.
In my hand.
Parakeet. Why parrot?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if I know the difference between a parrot and a parakeet.
Well, it's evident. Then we need to have a lesson. But today is not that day.
No. You are a teacher by trade, so we can work on that.
I am a certified educator. Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. So one night, this lovely lady next to me and I were going to have, let me use that in quotations because you can't see it, quotations, an early dinner a few months ago.
And I was even wearing rain boots. It was one of my favorite days. I love rainy days.
It was June and it was rainy.
Yeah.
And it was kind of gross outside, but not hot. And let's have an early dinner. What do you want? Well, I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. Let's go for some Mexican food.
That's right. It's rainy. It's Texas. It's Mexican food.
That's right. So we went to a local establishment, which is approximately halfway between our two abodes. And we had a quote-unquote early dinner at 4 or 4:30.
Yeah, something like that.
And we hadn't talked in a couple of months. We're getting caught up because she actually got to graduate. Mm-hmm. And I don't graduate till this coming May.
Right.
So you're rubbing that in my little nose.
I was not?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
I was empathizing with your struggle of classwork.
Because I was bitching about a paper I was writing?
Right. You're always bitching about a paper you're writing.
Because I'm over it.
Okay.
So.
And moving forward.
And we were just talking about stuff that happened to us in the months prior to that. And
our lives in general.
Just our lives. And just the craziness that's our lives.
Yeah.
That can mean.
Because between us both, there's so many similarities, but also so many differences.
Right.
And higher academia, yes, it's there. The educational component, yes, it's there.
But it doesn't matter. We have the same ideologies, regardless. It doesn't matter. But because we have the same core foundation,
yeah,
that's what's key.
That's true. And then with the conversations that flow from just our life experiences and how we view things, what better way but to promo that information and share it with everyone?
Exactly. So the stories we're sharing that rainy day in June where I think I look just about as lovely as I do at this particular day, we were talking about everything from school to family stuff to
relationships,
the men in our lives or the men who are no longer in our lives, all the above.
Children, parents.
Your kids, not my kids.
Right, my kids. Parents, everything. I think we covered every single facet.
Yes, and I think
of our lives.
And I think we left.
I think I knocked over a glass of something or so forth. It was just.
I think you knocked over. I think it was either a mojito or margarita, and I think it went on my lap. But that's
doesn't
here
matter.
Nor there. Yeah. So, and I think I got home at 11:30 that night.
It was late.
Yeah. So our quick early dinner turned into 7 hours.
But it's blossomed into this.
It has.
Yeah.
So the question I got posed to me even just this weekend was, how did y'all get the idea for the podcast? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was Misty's idea.
Well, I just think that the reality is we're very authentic people. And in this day and age, it seems like authenticity is lacking. People are so focused on being relevant and making a name for themselves that they're doing so without being authentic.
And I think so many people are not comfortable
owning their shit.
with who they are, one.
Right.
And two, because they feel ashamed or embarrassed of something, or they never really knew who they were, period.
That's true. And yeah, that's absolutely true. And then even within our own core groups, and I think that because you and I kind of live out loud, we're nonconformist, but we're still mannerable. We're educated, but we sometimes use profanity. We can be well spoken, but we can get down, with everybody.
Sure.
We're very diverse, and I think that quite honestly, that's lacking. People get into certain social situations and they think they have to put on airs to fit in. And I think the beauty behind what we're doing is that we're just who we are.
Right.
And another thing about being who we are, and I think what made us click when we were introduced, is that if we're having a bad day, we're having a bad day. We're not going to put a smile on our face and act as though what's falling apart isn't falling apart. And most people need that source of relation, because if you're on social media, if you're watching talk shows, whatever it is, everybody's prim and proper, smiling, happy-go-lucky, life is perfect, the world is beautiful. And in reality, that's not reality.
No, I walk in and I grab a Capri Sun and have some animal crackers.
Welcome to Misti's.
That's how you know I've not had a stellar morning.
When you're offered Capri Sun, Gatorade, or water as your options, hey, you're in a different atmosphere.
Are you hungry? Would you like a Capri Sun, banana, or animal crackers? Or fruit
She's
roll-up?
What land am I in? Welcome to Misti's.
Yeah, and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. So I think, and the authenticity, I think, of just everybody in general, like you said, was lacking. And I think people feel like they put on some kind of mask.
Yeah, and we see all the time, and we were talking before, that the millennials and the Gen Xers are they're so about, they just want somebody to be real. They don't care, like the baby boomers and the veterans are all about credentials and diplomas and what is your certification. And though we have all of that, when we're also trying to cross over into the other generations and being able to relate to millennials and Gen Xers, it's you have to be real.
Yeah.
And for us, even when you're dealing with us, like, I can call you on crap very quickly. And the minute that I realize that you're not authentic, you lose me. I'm done. I no longer even want to be privy to what you have to offer, because the minute I sense that there's dishonesty there, or you're trying to portray yourself as something that you're not, it makes me realize that you're not comfortable in your own skin, which means that you're not going to be comfortable with me being so real.
And something I've actually noticed recently, because of some circumstances, I think people's mask is so thick, they don't even realize it's a mask anymore.
Right.
And whatever kind of belief system they want people to think they have, or they want people to think they are something that they are not, they're starting to believe that's who they really are.
And there's a term, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I get that. In certain social situations.
I'm not Italian.
But you do have to conform in certain social situations with social graces. That's just part of being an adult.
Now, I'm not going to walk into a gala in a cocktail dress and open a beer with my teeth, which I can do, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do it in a cocktail dress. Now, if I'm at a disgusting dive bar in East Dallas, absolutely.
Well, and I think that with me, I'll speak here. There was a time in my earlier years, if I didn't like you, not only were you aware I didn't like you, everybody in the room would know. But I think as you grow and you mature, it's not so much being fake when you have to be polite to even people who you don't get along with.
Just being cordial.
It's it. Hey, how you doing? Shake the hand, keep it moving. And I think that a lot of times people, even nowadays, they go the extra mile to continue a carry on conversation with someone who everybody in that room knows you have aught with. And that actually makes you look
like an
unauthentic.
Idiot. Yeah.
It's be real, be polite. There's an issue there. Keep it moving.
Right.
And between you and I think that's how we conduct ourselves. Like, we're not going to sit there and appease everyone by being something that we're not.
Right.
So I think with the idea of the podcast, it was just about being who we are, knowing that other people could relate. And if not, they would still listen just to talk about it. And the reality is, at least you're talking about something other than somebody else and their failures, shortcomings, or what you're doing that's better than them. You're talking about something that may be of relevance.
Or the Real Housewives of whatever city that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are getting paid, by the way, to create drama.
Right.
Let's just
throw that out there.
As of right now, we're not getting paid.
That's right.
However, if you'd like to sponsor, please feel free to contact us.
Right.
So what would you think? Because people also ask me this: what's our niche? I don't think we have a niche.
No, I think that when we started this, I think that I said something along the lines of they're going to listen because they love us, or they're going to hate us so much they will still listen to bash us. And because we already own who and what we are, we're okay with that being the reality. We're okay with the bashing or the loving. Either way you go, you're still listening. And I think that when we keep that in mind and we're willing to be who we are, we can't fail.
Right. And we haven't had anyone bash us yet.
I'm waiting. Where are they? I was kind of waiting for it.
So far, I'm getting rave reviews.
Are they afraid?
So
Are they afraid to do it?
Well, either that many people really aren't listening, or they just think we're amazing. Which, I mean, not that I'm biased. Of course,
I think we're amazing.
I think we're amazing.
I think we're awesome.
And people ask me, what are your long-term goals? I said, I think long-term we might want to do, live, like maybe on internet radio or something like that. No, I flat out tell you, if you want us to go on camera, somebody better donate me a hair girl and a makeup girl, because
Oh, Kristi. Next. What's the next question that we've been asked?
Next question is kind of, where did we come from?
You want to start with that one?
Where did we come from? Sure. I'm born and raised in Dallas, right here. Well, technically, I was conceived.
Please don't go back to conception. Because you're not 100% certain.
Oh, I know exactly where I was when I was conceived. My parents had too much to drink one night and told me. I was conceived at my grandparents' house in Huntington Beach, California.
That's not disgusting.
On 4th of July
That's
weekend.
your problem. You were conceived at grandma's. I mean, there we go.
Which turned out to be a very fertile playground for a number of people.
Oh my God, I really don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anything else about this.
So essentially, I was born and raised right here in Dallas, Texas. And in fact, born at where? Presby, Dallas.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was raised in Mesquite, home of the rodeo.
Skater.
There you go. No, it wasn't. It was not a skeeter. My high school years were pretty funny, actually. We're not going to get into that today.
No.
No need.
No need.
No need. And I was born at Baylor. I mean, that's simple.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Born at Baylor. So I think one thing Misty and I do have in common that we have a passion for helping people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so even though hers is more on the kiddo educational level, mine comes from a healthcare background. And that primarily has stemmed in the senior healthcare market, although I can do more than just that.
And what I think is amazing is that when you look at it, we're on two different ends of the spectrum as it relates to age, but essentially we're still helping and wanting to offer aid to the innocent.
Right.
When you're talking about adolescents and children, when you're talking about the elderly, you're talking about niches and groups of people that are gravely in need right now.
Yes.
And I think it's important. And of course, there's that middle ground of the families who are trying to support, again, both ends of those spectrums.
Because
kids,
our
teens, and elderlies. That's
parents
right.
are helping their parents die
That's
right now
Right.
while they have their kids in college.
Exactly. And I think it's important that people realize that when they hear us on rants or they hear our controversial sides, the passion that you hear in that is the same level of passion that we use to advocate.
Right.
And that we use when we're in situations that call for protecting and or servicing those who are in need.
And you and I are passionate about a lot of things.
A lot of things.
So if you could name the top 3 things that you're passionate about, what would they be?
Wow.
Just pick your top 3 that make you just fume. Especially when somebody speaks something so incredibly ignorant. Again, ignorant does not mean you're stupid. It just means you're uneducated about a certain topic.
Inequality in education
Oh,
is a very big one for me.
absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand what that means when I say inequality in education, but because though I went to SMU, so again, you study in the bubble, and it's a very, very skewed perspective of what life is about.
And it's a very small bubble.
That's right. And then I chose to teach in the inner city in Dallas, which has 227 elementary schools, countless high
Huge.
schools. It's massive district. It's the second largest in Texas. And I chose not to just teach in Dallas, but to teach in Pleasant Grove. It was a choice. And so seeing the inequality and compared to where my children attend school, which is in a suburban area, it's devastating. It is devastating. So that's something that can get me on a soapbox real quick. Of course, violence against women, violence against children. Quick.
And those are
red.
two topics that you and I are very
Very,
the
yes.
same about. I believe there is a special place in hell for those who abuse children, those that abuse elderly people, those that abuse animals, and those who hit women.
I agree.
Whether that's another woman hitting another woman, that's besides the point. But if you're going to strike the mother of your children, whether you're in a lesbian relationship or a heterosexual relationship, there's a special place in hell for you.
So violence against women, violence against children would be, I'm going to put those in category 2 of areas of passion. And then I think as a person, Misty. So I have these two platforms that are very important to me. When I personalize it, I'm passionate about my own kids.
Well, sure.
So but when you get me on a topic or get me to going, it's very difficult. And I think for most of us, it's difficult to separate personal experiences from reality, opinions, and facts. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Your personal experiences play in a lot to your ideologies. And for me, I'm oftentimes driven because I'll think back on my own past history or what I've seen, what I've experienced, what my kids are going through, and it further ignites that passion. And that would be it. And yours? 3 passions.
They're not in a particular order. Mental health.
Right.
I have family members that do struggle with it. I'm actually an advocate for one of them, and a guardian for one of them, because I think because it's one of the few things left that are still so hush hush, and still have a really nasty stigma. And one day I'll go in a whole diatribe about the mental health situation from 20 years ago to where it is now.
Right.
The availability of mental health beds in Texas 20, 25 years ago versus where they are now. And it's astonishing. It's mind-blowing, actually. And I will go in a whole, like you, just
Tangent.
for hours. My other thing is I'm very passionate about, and this is morbid, death and dying. And just the healthcare system in general, because working in it for so long and working one-on-one with patients and one-on-one with families and one-on-one with doctors and CEOs of hospitals and CNOs of hospitals, there's such a people don't understand healthcare. The general public, unless you work...
It's a different language. It's just like education.
It's a different language.
You speak doctor, I speak education.
Correct.
Like, we get that.
We get it. And I think, I had so many families that came into my office, and they, especially the little ladies whose husbands who went in for open heart surgery and they just didn't wake up.
Right.
First of all, why putting an 8-year-old under full-blown anesthesia to have open heart surgery is another topic for another day.
Right.
But the fact that she looked at me and she's 76 years old and has never written a check in her life, can barely drive a car, doesn't know how to pump gas because the husband did everything.
Right.
made
Different
every
generation.
Different generation. And so I think, that I've on the same note, I had families come in my office, with multiple siblings, and none of them could agree or understood what was happening with mom.
Right.
And why she was sick, and
Right.
that she's not that sick. She can go home. She'll be fine. And I'm having to educate and mediate these family situations and bring everybody on the same page.
Right.
So, and death and dying is a topic that I will talk about for 100 years because, again, people don't understand what hospice is. They think it's a place.
And we are talking about it.
And we are talking about it. Sorry, see?
We're going into 100 years. Let's go quickly.
Sorry.
Next.
Okay, so hospice topic for another day and time. Please submit your questions. I'll answer them. I think in third, kind of like personally,
Yeah.
you know, I'm born and raised in the state of Texas in a house that didn't have guns, but I'm here to tell you that if you hurt my family or kill my family, I will kill you back.
I think that's just a known fact among Texans.
Well,
I'm not quite certain you had to say that. I think we all feel the same way.
But I think I'm more vocal about it.
And, you know, I'm very liberal, but when it comes down to that shit, I mean, please.
You know, and and I will flat out state my political stance.
Oh, God, here we're going to get some, okay.
Here's my thing. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat.
I'm a moderate. I'm with you.
Okay, I'm a moderate. But here's my thing. I like my guns, my gays, and my uterus. And I'll do with them as I please. That's my political
One
party.
more time.
I like my guns. I like my gays. And I like my uterus.
Me too.
And I'll do with them as I please.
I like all three.
Yes.
I like them a lot.
I like
A lot.
Oh, I'm the great Cornholio. I mean,
oh my God, welcome to Misti and Kristi.
And here's the thing. This is how we talk before we prep.
All the time.
People say you should just record how you talk.
We're in restaurants and we have to turn around to people and say, excuse me, you may want to close your ears for the next 5 minutes. And then we just go on tangents.
I turned around to the guy behind me, and I can't remember who we were, and I said, I apologize for what's about to come out of my mouth because it's going to be really vulgar. So I'm apologizing because there's no censoring the story I told you.
Right. But when it comes back to it, you know, passion, a lot of times, passion is misconstrued for anger.
Or my favorite, being emotional and being dramatic.
It's not. And here's the thing. Passion is compiled of anger. And it is compiled of parts of your emotional place.
Sure.
But the
absolutely.
reality is, we are each derived from something. And there's parts of us that when ignited, that may only be personal to you. Meaning, that's your purpose. If that thing pisses you off, if that thing makes you want to learn more, know more, do more, and propels you to help somebody else, that is your purpose. Yes. And the thing about passion, and people get it so screwed up, or people will say, oh, well, my passion is football. Okay, really? Let's go a little bit deeper.
Okay, I enjoy football. I like football.
I mean, let's be real. What is your true heartfelt passion? It's the question you posed. What gets you going?
Right.
What makes you, what irks you? And when you meet someone that truly has a stance on anything, I don't even care if it's something I don't agree with, but if they are adamantly 100% sold out to that.
And speaking relatively educated about it.
Yeah, exactly. Not just running on tangent of opinions, but you can tell, hey, they've done their research. Hey, they're making moves in this direction. Hey, they're advocating.
They're using it for good.
They're lobbying. They're doing something productive for this passion. I applaud that effort. I think everybody should have something that wakes them up when they're speaking about it. Because when someone really starts talking to you about their passion, like if you get me going about education, it's like you with healthcare and the way palliative care, how people should die, how they shouldn't die. If you get me talking about equality and equitability in education, I'm done.
She'll start spitting on you from
and I think it's happening right now, and my hands get to flailing, and I'm like, do we see there's so many systematic failures. There's systematic failures in the healthcare industry.
My God, so many.
There's systematic failures in the penal system. There's systematic failures in the education system. And we function as Americans letting other people make decisions for us.
Yeah.
Yet we go out and we vote those party lines. Hey, I'm Republican. Hey, I'm Democrat. This way I'm going to vote. But you're voting ignorantly. You don't know what you're voting for. Be aware. Find a passion. If you only vote for one thing, if your thing is women's rights only, that's it. That's the only thing you care about.
Then go vote
then
Wendy Davis.
Find that.
Yes.
Well, find the party in that particular voting year. Find the person who is advocating on your behalf. Find something of relevance.
Right.
Other than your party line, or other than, oh, this one's a woman and that one's a man, or this one's black and that one's white, I'm voting that way. Be real. Find something that's important. If your issue is legalization of marijuana, find someone who's going that way.
Right.
If your issue is funding education, if your issue is
she's flailing, y'all. Her hands are flailing.
If we're going to talk about standardized tests, realize that's not just a state decision. That's a federal viral decision. I mean, people are so ignorant about these things. Like, I don't get it.
Because they don't. More people vote.
Find something.
More people vote on American Idol, and so you think you can dance and Dancing with the Stars than actually vote in
But do you
elections.
understand how ignorant that makes people look? I mean, seriously, when I'm sitting there talking to somebody, I didn't vote. Well, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
If you don't vote, then don't bitch at me if you don't like the regulations coming down.
Yeah, I really, or you want to say, oh, I hate America. Well, what is your stance on this? Well, I don't really have one. Well, then what's your problem? Like, even if I don't agree with your position, have one.
Have one.
Have one.
And have your position, but know what you're talking about.
That's right.
Right. So this is just
This is kind of how it goes at restaurants.
and I've been in restaurants, but like
Welcome to our world.
but when we prepare for a podcast,
Please do join us for tea.
with some whiskey or rum in it. But people say y'all should record your just conversations over cocktails. Well, we're not drinking. Maybe we are.
I don't
maybe
know
we're not.
why. I mean, maybe a little bit we can do that. Like, I'm good to go in these floral shorts, and I could drink your shirt right
Just
now.
like you
Yeah, I'm
think,
ready to go.
But it's just a shout out to Brian Maldolano, by the way. People think we should record this. So today, this is for your listening ears. Here's a little snack for you. This is it. This is our conversation.
Yeah,
This is why it takes us 12 hours
and I think,
to record
and another
anything.
thing that's important, like, our backgrounds are very eclectic. Like, I was an at-risk teen.
Sure.
There's a reason why teens matter to me. And I've gone on this new plight that it's important to be a parent, but it's also important to be your kid's friend. And and that's going to be something that a lot of people share a different opinion about, and that's fine.
Right.
We
Yeah.
talked about earlier, you got to do what works for you in your home with your children, whatever keeps the peace, minimizes conflict, and maintains a healthy relationship between parent and child. All of us have different home lives. All of us have different backgrounds. But I think what makes you and I both unique is that though we're very similar in a lot of ways, we've also experienced life differently. I was married 11 years, divorced, single mom of 3. You've been chronically single as you term yourself.
I've had a number of men ask me to get married. I just never actually, they all gave me some very lovely rings. I gave, one of them back. But I just actually didn't say I do, but I knew it wasn't right when,
So I feel like my 20s were robbed by marriage. You got to live your 20s and
I don't
dating
remember
and,
rest of my
and so
20s.
forth. So, I mean, though our situations and our backgrounds are a little bit different, they're also very similar. And it makes for an interesting conversation.
Right.
Because we have very different viewpoints and perspectives, but somehow we come to this point of like, yeah.
Right.
It's just kind of like we're nodding our heads like, I get it.
Yeah.
And even though we're so different, and I think another thing for both of us, it's very important because we are in our mid-30s, yet we still both chose to get our graduate degree. And I think at this point, like,
It wasn't an option for me. My mother pretty much set that in stone when I was.
But still, you had to put forth the effort.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of people do that in their 20s, or a lot of people forfeit it altogether. We're part of that 16% now, which, to me, that speaks volumes about who we are as people and the ability to finish something even when faced with adversity. And I think that that's also something that we want to share with other people. Like, we're not just belligerent idiots up here. We truly are educated women who are at a point in their life we're choosing to reinvent who we are.
Right. This is my second career, and this is your second career.
That's right. It's a total start over. It's a fresh start. And we said when we interviewed Chad recently, it is okay to look at your life at 40. And realize when you're looking at other people's lives at 40, yours doesn't mirror theirs.
No.
It's okay.
Absolutely. And
Like, it's okay.
I mean, I think we all at one point were like that 23-year-old girl who were like, we're going to be married by the time we're 25. Right.
Was.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I was, I had that group of friends, and, I was 22, 23,
Right.
24, 25. They were all getting married. They all had their babies, and guess what happened? They all got divorced.
That's right.
Some of them have already gotten remarried, and that's fantastic. But I think as women, for some flippin' reason, well, I'm not. I mean, the 60s, the 50s, Leave It to Beaver stigma is still kind of out there in a sense. But I think we're trying to be like, you get married and you have your 2.5 kids and da-da-da-da.
And it's okay. We have to relinquish the idea of traditional norms.
And I finally relinquished
Yeah.
that probably, 5 or 6 years ago. And I still know women who are about our age and are in this range. They're like they're dating these horrific men.
And that's
Because they had that, I want to have kids and I want to get, well, if you want to have kids that bad, go buy some sperm and do it yourself.
But to do that, and I think I've read somewhere, a meme or whatever, it says pain has the ability to change you. Life experiences have the ability to change you.
If you let them.
And people say, people can't change. Maybe that's true, but we can evolve. We can become better versions of ourselves. And if you let the pain,
agree.
If you let the pain and you let the experiences sift you, you will become what you're meant to be. And it just may happen a little bit later for you, and that's fine. And when you relinquish the idea that my life has to look like Betty Sue's next door, well, you don't really know what's going on in Betty Sue's life. That white picket fence may be a little bit cracked. And just because someone's portraying a perfect life on social media doesn't mean it's what is really happening. And just because you're at football games, like for me, on Saturdays when I go to my little one's football games, I'm like the only single mom on the team. And it's hard. This is real. Yeah. This is real life. This is real shit. So when everybody else has their little guy out there and dad's showing up and dad's tossing the ball, I don't have that. So to fill that void is real. And there are a lot of other women who fill that same void. And people... in our society, we become so individualistic that we don't look at other people's situation and see what this one's going through or what that one's going through. Oh, you made it here at 9 o'clock and I made it here at 9:30. Well, do you understand I had this situation going on? I'm doing it by myself. I mean, I think just life has the way of making you more empathetic.
It does. And I also think we're one thing that, because yes, I was the girl who's the runaway bride and chronically single and you were not, I think.
Though I should have been.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Right.
Stop shitting on yourself. But I think we also agree I'm 35 and a half. You just had a birthday. Tell her happy birthday. She's 24.
Please. I own all of 37. I am better today than I've ever been in every aspect of me.
Me too.
In every aspect
35
of me.
freaked me out for a while, and now I'm like, shit.
I love it. There's something happening. Yeah. It's very unique.
I think because of what our lives have what's happened in each of our lives the last probably 5 to 7 years, I think we both have come to the realization that we'd rather be single and happy than have somebody in our lives that didn't make us happy.
And let me speak on that for a second.
Oh, here we go.
There's 7.8 billion people on this planet. I was at 24 hour, workout.
Fitness.
Yeah. So I'm working out and I'm leaving and I see a young girl who I basically saw grow up from like 4 and now she's like mid-20s. And there's a pin sitting on the desk and she's telling me about, this one dating that one and this one dating that one and this one settling over here and she's not married but she has a baby. And I pick up the Bic pen. Let me tell you something. Here's a Bic pen. And some of us will hold on so tight to this Bic pen because we like the blue Bic pen.
Right.
We don't want to let it go.
Right.
And we'll use that Bic pen till it's like making the mark on the white paper yet leaving no ink behind.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll shake it and we won't want to let go of that.
You'll lick it.
We'll do whatever we got to do. But the reality is there are millions of Bics. I can go to Walmart and I can choose from red, black, blue,
green,
packages, single, ballpoint, all these different Bics. But the reality is I get so attached to this one favorite Bic pen.
That's cheap and not even that great.
That's right. That I forget there's 7.8 billion other Bics.
It's a Bic pen, not a Mont Blanc.
We don't have to hold on to the Bic pen.
Go get you a Mont Blanc.
Lay it down.
Yeah.
Pick another variety.
Mont Blanc. I'm a Mont Blanc kind of girl.
Okay. Pick whatever you want. Whatever color you want. Whatever size you want.
Felt tip.
Whatever label whatever brand you want. I don't care. But realize that Bic is no longer serving you. And it's back to what you were saying. So many people settle.
Because I think so many people are afraid to be alone. And I know one gentleman in particular who is dating a girl who he's called quote unquote crazy, and we'll get on that topic another day.
Not today. We're introducing ourselves.
Right. And how I despise the word crazy because he feels sorry for her. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what happens when you feel sorry for the person that you're quote unquote dating? You lose respect for that person.
Oh, that's a good perspective. I never looked at it like that.
And I think that you feel, and I didn't say this out loud because it was in my head as I'm chugging my Miller Lite tall draft. I'm thinking in my head, you're with this woman because you don't want to be alone. So you're settling for somebody who's, again, let me throw up my quotation marks, crazy, because you feel sorry for her, but I really think it's because you don't want to be alone.
And it's also because if she is anyway unhealthy, unstable, and whatever, she needs him. And it seems like some people also need the relationship and codependency of another person, another human being needing them. And when you become full functioning, you realize it's so much more empowering to be in a relationship by choice where both people are equitable and there's no power imbalance.
Right.
And you can serve each other reasonably and you can bring more to the table, whether it's it's not always financial, it's not always intellectual, it's not always the backing of a company. A lot of times it's just, can I be here to encourage you because I'm good?
It's a codependency, and that codependency is locked. Guess what's on the side of those masks? Codependency.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a mask, you wouldn't need the codependency. If you felt okay with who you are, you wouldn't need the codependency.
Right. That's true.
That's the way it is, folks. Well, this is just a little glimpse to the crap that we do on a regular basis.
We could go on for 5 hours, but we won't.
We won't. We'll save that for another day, and I'm sure your ears are bleeding.
So now you understand basically our background. So I have been in education for almost a decade. I have worked with adolescents and children for almost 15 years. I'm very familiar with the special education component of the education system, 504 processes. Kristi and I are both certified mediators, both family and certified family mediators. And Kristi has a strong background in
healthcare. I also took graduate level classes in emergency management. So when Katrina and Rita hit my nursing home company that was in Houston and New Orleans, I lived out of the back of Integra for 3 months carrying dead people out of nursing homes that were my nursing homes. So I have a very familiar background in emergency management. And so when this whole Ebola thing happened, again, not even...
No soapbox. We're winding down. We're winding down.
That's why I was glued to my TV for like 4 days.
Right.
Because that stuff I just love. But my background is primarily senior healthcare, assisted living, independent living, CCRC, Google it, independent living, well, death and dying.
And you have also founded Carlson Resolution.
CarlsonResolutionGroup.com. Do everything from patient advocacy to patient and family education to helping families, elder mediation, and not just elder mediation, but just healthcare mediation in general.
Right.
So because not everybody's on the same page, and sometimes when a doctor comes and talks to you and delivers some pretty upsetting news, you don't always hear what the doctor is saying.
Yeah.
That's where I
need that liaison.
Right. That's where I come into play.
And then I'm the founder and executive director of Heads Up Dallas, www.headsupdallas.org. And we specifically service teens at risk in the areas of whether it be addiction, academia, teen pregnancy, family conflict. We offer services that cover a wide variety of issues that can arise.
Mm-hmm. And we do share an office because our stuff overlaps. So
that's right.
There you go.
And we're located in Garland. So you have our background, you have our information. Yes, there will be days that we're on tangents. If you have something that you would like to hear us discuss, or if you have questions related to our background and our knowledge base, family mediation means we understand the Texas Family Code. So if you are in the middle of divorce, facing divorce, or even curious about, hey, should I get married and what happens to my finances?
Get a prenup.
You may want to ask us. We know that information. You got child support questions. We know that too.
Yep. All right, Misty and Kristi Show on Facebook or at Misty and Kristi on Twitter. Y'all take care of each other. Be authentic. Take off those damn masks. They cause acne. Have a great day. Bye.